So this is the login screen for My Finance Center. Now when we originally developed My Finance Center or started development is we wanted to reduce the access or the barriers to access. So rather than getting people to register and receive emails backwards and forwards to confirm who they are, we chose some trusted providers and utilized their authentication system instead. So whether it's a Hotmail user or a Google Mail user or a Facebook user, most people have actually got one or if not more of these accounts which they use on a daily basis. And what we can do is just simply link it across, so they'll have their existing account and we would just simply ride on the back of it. What's probably more interesting is that more often than not is if that person's already logged into that service, we can actually get people into My Finance Center within 2 clicks. The first click is from the email coming to My Finance Center, and the second click is going to be deciding on which provider they want to authenticate. So on here, I'm a Hotmail user, that's now going off to Hotmail, authenticating, saying I'm on the right person, and here I am. So this is the home page or summary page for My Finance Center. And when I spoke earlier about being able to visit My Finance Center and easily see how much am I worth and how well protected I am, well, this is how we do it, through the balance sheet and through the protection section. So with the balance sheet, it breaks out my assets and my liabilities and then allows me to see what my total net worth is. And on the protection section is we provide a very easy demonstration of how well protected I am, or more importantly, how well protected I'm not. So on here I can actually see that I'm not covered for critical illness or income protection. I can then scroll down and actually visit the individual portfolio items which are being aggregated above. So I've got my mortgage and I've got my property. I can then click into that and then view it in here. In addition to that, the summary page, depending on how the user kind of interacts with it, can then also scroll down, and we have an inbox where we can receive messages either generated by the advisor directly or through Campaign Manager, and then we also have a section where we can look at our documents. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a new item into my portfolio as a customer and something that 360 isn't aware of. So from here you can see I've got a couple of add items. We'll click on add item just here. We'll click on to other insurance. And just while we're actually at this point, what we've tried to do with My Finance Center is we've tried to take the very kind of softly approach. We've tried to keep it reasonably airy, very accessible, but also hopefully as intuitive as possible. Some kind of when you're dealing with financial data on the web, certainly, it does have a habit of just being a bit too much like Excel, a bit too formalized, and as a result it kind of turns people off. The softly approach that we're taking with My Finance Center will hopefully work and not turn our user base off. So I'm just going to, I just clicked onto other insurance. Let's go into other assets. So I'm just going to give this a name, so we'll give it its Constable Painting. And it's the Haywain, and we haven't really got so we'll put in the National Gallery, and we'll give it a type of art, and then we'll give it a valuation. I don't know, it's probably pricing it not very well, but I'm sure he'll forgive me. And we'll put the 1st of the 1st, 2005, and we'll save that. That's now told me that I've successfully saved it, which is great. And now if I click onto the home page or the summary page, I should now see a much more positive net worth. And there we go. So the final bit of My Finance Center that I'm going to show you is the balance sheet. Now what this does is you can see on the home page is we have a kind of summary where it breaks down your assets and your liabilities and shows you what your net worth is. With the balance sheet it kind of explodes this out. It actually breaks down the individual product areas and then allows you to drill into them. So let's say you've got a client who has quite a large portfolio, is it can come into here and have a kind of more interactive way of being able to navigate the data rather than it just simply being textual. But what we also like about this section is we give the user the opportunity to model the data. So this is very much a kind of foundation of where we're actually going with My Finance Center. An example is that we can have a user on there who might say to themselves, where am I going to be in 5 years? And using this is they can actually start to play around with the figures dynamically. So they might say, well, actually, let's say I'm going to pay 50 grand off my mortgage, about that much. Pension's going to go up, other properties are going to go up in price, and investment's going to do well, and and sorry to be a bit macabre, but Aunt Bessie's going to pop her clogs, and I know she's going to leave me some money. And there you go. So in 5 years' time, whereas my net worth is just under £500,000, I'm now looking rather healthy at just under £720,000. Okay, so what value does this add? Well, firstly, it's the kind of, we're looking to kind of break out how the balance sheet works and turn it into some kind of projection tool where a user can say, well, actually, I expect these things to carry on at this particular rate, and then see how that affects over 5, 10, even 25 years' time. And in addition to that, it also gives pause for the actual users, to start playing around with their figures. Essentially this is their data, and when they start to mess around, hopefully they're going to start questioning. You might have a user on there who's just simply got one mortgage and no savings. So they might be able to play around. Well, hold on, if I reduce my mortgage, my net worth might essentially go up, but that's not really where I want to be when I retire. And this gives a very simple way of being able to demonstrate that.